And today on Cruising Morrison County, Mavis and Brenda from the Minnesota Fishing Museum were recently here in studio, and they were talking about their 9th annual Night with the Pros fishing fundraiser. They talked about which pros are going to be there and what the grand prize is.
It does. It's a great time. We're happy to have the legends with us this year, as well as all the pros. But this year, we're lucky enough to have Gary Roach, and Ron Shera is a 90% maybe. He's so close to coming. We're not sure exactly. We've got Leroy Ross, who was inducted last year into the Hall of Fame. We also have Perry Good, that's being inducted into the National Freshwater Hall of Fame, coming up here on April 2nd. We have Butch Furtman is actually offering up a trip for us to go fishing with him, and so is Gary Roach. It's going to be on our live auction items, and Perry Good and Leroy Ross. It's awesome. It's being donated to us by Master Mark, actually, and it is a 16 by 16 composite deck, and so they'll have everything. They can pick their colors. It's a $2,600 value, and so if anybody is just looking for a deck, it'd be worth it to come out to the event.
And while the deck is the grand prize that night, the door prize is a overnight stay at Cruisin's up in the Brainerd Lakes area.
That is actually our major door prize that'll be given away at the end of the evening. So just by showing up to have dinner, your ticket is an entry into the drawing, and you might end up with an overnight stay at Cruisin's Resort.
They also talked about why it's important for the locals here in central Minnesota to come out to the event.
So what we're finding is that increasingly people around the state are finding us to be a great destination and include us in their travel plans. So this is a great opportunity for our folks locally to participate in some of the fun that we have with folks from all around.
And while the night will not solely be focused on the kids that are interested in fishing, there are activities that can keep the kids having fun, and they talk about the sponsors that help make the event possible.
Admission for kids is age 12 and under is just $15. We do have an activity for children to do while they are there. And when people say, is my child welcome, I always say, if it's a child you would spend 3 hours in the boat with, by all means. Those are the kinds of kids we love to have at the event. We are kid-friendly, but not kid-centered. One of the fun things they do, however, is we give them a list of questions and encourage them to go around to the pros and ask a different pro to answer each question. And they get that signature, and they get their name in a drawing for a nice prize at the end of the evening as well.
We really do. We'd really love to thank Lindy Fishing Tackle, Simply Outdoor Experience, of course, Master Mark with their deck. It's awesome. We've got a new sponsor for us this year is Tracker Boats and Marine up by Brainerd. We've got the Rice Sportsman's Club, we've got the Mid Central Dark House Club, and then we have Little Falls Machine that jumped in just recently. We've got Sportsman's Lodge up in Lake of the Woods, and they're actually throwing out a 2-night stay, a chartered guided trip with a fish cleaning for 2 also. And then we have McDonald's and Minnesota Federal Credit Union, Insurance Broker, and Trophy Anglers Tackle.
And if folks wish to donate to the Fishing Museum, they give what they're looking for and the hours that the Fishing Museum is open.
Yes, we do. If you're at all interested, just give us a call and we'll talk you through the process. But we are accepting donations of your older, collectible type fishing related items. And we're always thrilled and honored to see what comes in the door. We are open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. However, heads up, this Thursday and Friday we will be closed. It is the annual induction for the new members into the Fishing Hall of Fame. So we will be in Minneapolis at the Convention Center for that event. So I would suggest just leave a message and we would get back to you if that's the only time you can reach us, and we'll be sure to contact you.
And we've been speaking with Brenda and Mavis from the Minnesota Fishing Museum here in Little Falls about their 9th annual Night with the Pros fundraiser going on next Friday, the 8th, at the Falls Ballroom in Little Falls. And earlier this week, I had a chance to speak with two students from the Piers Healy High School that have been working on a hydroponic system at the school. I'm speaking with Koi Obawa and Lucas Hennon, two students at Piers Healy High School who are involved with the hydroponics project in the Ag department. Obawa and Hennon talk about what the definition of hydroponics is and how they constructed their hydroponic system here at Piers Healy High.
You see, hydroponics is actually growing without soil. What we use is a water system that flows by the plants. And basically you put nutrients in the water, and that's what supplies the plants with what they need.
Kinda had to build it from scratch a little bit. What we took was plastic rain gutter and drilled holes in the top, and then plants in on top, and had a fish tank underneath, and it's just a continuous flowing.
Hennon talked about how hydroponics is actually a very efficient way to grow plants, while Obawa talked about other aspects of the construction process.
Well, you'd think so, but the hydroponics is actually really cheap to set up, and it's actually really easy. And, well, above all, it's an interesting new thing. I mean, you see it starting to come up in big cities where they do that on top of skyscrapers. But it's actually, the resources are really cheap. You don't even need a fish tank. You could use a 5-gallon bucket for a small operation.
Could have done something different, for a tray for the water to pool in for the plant and to drain, but it's just already has that trench form with a rain gutter. It's trying to get the water to flow in without overflowing the trays was the big thing. Figuring out what size hose and then trying to figure out pump evenly to all of them.
Obawa talked about how they planned their hydroponic system, while Hennon talked about using hydroponics in the future.
One thing we did is Miss Tax took us up to CLC to the hydroponics thing up there they have up there. So we took ideas from up there and we implemented it into ours.
Probably. I mean, I would certainly like to have some kind of system like that. Really, one thing I've learned from the Ag department here is about being independent from like big supermarkets and whatnot, and I really like the idea of growing your own food.
Obawa and Hennon talked about the student response to the hydroponics at Piers Healy High and some advice they'd give students that are interested in learning about hydroponics.
Well, like any, you're going to have the ones that aren't all that interested in it, but the ones that are, they always like to see that working, and they express a kind of new interest, like they kind of want to know more.
The ingenuity.
Yeah. If they come to Healy High and they want to try this, they can definitely talk to Mrs. Tax. She's kind of like the person who's, I guess you could say, in charge of the greenhouse, and it's a really simple thing, and I encourage anyone to come up and see that in the greenhouse here working. It's actually quite fascinating.
And we've been speaking with Koi Obawa and Lucas Hennon, students at Piers Healy High, about their hydroponic system that they have at the Piers Healy High School Ag Department. And coming up next, we'll be speaking with Adam Kroll and Samantha Wincher, two students at Piers Healy High School who are involved with the community garden. That's all on Cruising Morrison County here on AM 960 KLTF.